Welcome to the 6th episode of Pride and Prejudice, the podcast that breaks barriers and challenges stereotypes. I am your host, Allison Vasquez. In this episode, I will discuss how the Southern states and their laws impact the LGBTQ community. The Southern states are known for their food, music, and fashion, both extremely extravagant and, when talking about the food, absolutely delicious. But they also have the reputation for being extremely homophobic and passing laws that are detrimental to the LGBTQ community. In this podcast, I will focus specifically on the laws in Florida, Tennessee, and Louisiana. Now let's get started by discussing Florida, the Sunshine State. Florida is well known for its law HB 1557, better known as the Don't Say Gay Bill. Passed in July of 2022, it impacts the language faculty and staff can use in schools. The first version of this bill banned the discussion of the LGBTQ community, and in the second version, the word discussion was amended to instruction. The bill doesn't explain what instruction means. The bill explicitly states, classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3 or in a manner that is not age-appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. During a press conference, Governor Ron DeSantis said, teaching kindergarten-aged kids that they can be whatever they want to be was inappropriate for children, which is deeply concerning. It also allows teachers to out their students to a legal guardian without the child's consent, which can lead to serious problems at home if their parents are not supportive of their identity. I fully understand why legislators wouldn't want kindergarteners or kids in 3rd grade to discuss these topics, but later on, definitely past 5th grade, these topics should not be banned as these students are exploring their identities and teachers should be creating safe and inclusive classrooms. This bill also allows parents to sue the school if they believe the school has violated the law and their concerns have not been resolved. This could lead to litigious parents threatening schools and teachers who advocate for LGBTQ rights and equality. Next, there's Tennessee, the volunteer state. On July 1st of 2023, Tennessee passed a law called SB 1 that requires trans people to medically detransition within a year. It also makes it unlawful to provide certain types of medical care for transgender minors diagnosed with gender dysphoria. Potential treatments suggested by medical professionals are prohibited by this ban, and generally discriminate against transgender youth who just wish to feel more comfortable in their own skin. The Justice Department challenged this ban by stating that it violates the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Louisiana has passed a similar legislation, HB 648, banning gender-affirming care for transgender youth. This law took effect on January 1st, 2024. In 2022, the FBI released its annual crime report for that year. Its report shows a 13.8% increase in reports of hate crimes based on sexual orientation, while there was a 32.29% jump in hate crimes related to gender identity. More than 1 in 5 hate crimes are now motivated by anti-LGBTQ bias, according to the FBI's report. 56% of hate crimes are based on race and ethnicity, and LGBTQ people of color and trans people are especially vulnerable. Now, you may be wondering, how does the LGBTQ community thrive in the South if all these laws are working against them? Well, many people have started petitions against the laws, and people in support of killing the bills signed those petitions. LGBTQ people and their allies have banded together to protest these types of prejudicial legislations. They are making speeches and starting organizations to combat all of this, and making it safer for the LGBTQ people living there, and especially for the LGBTQ youth. Their example reminds us that even in dark times, there are advocates and upstanders. There's much more work for them to do, and the fight to overturn these discriminatory laws and prevent the passage of new legislation continues. If you enjoyed this episode of Pride and Prejudice, please share it with friends, family, or anyone who could benefit from this conversation. Let's spread the word and make our voices heard. Until then, remember that it is not about breaking barriers, it's about creating a world where everyone's story is heard and celebrated. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep challenging those stereotypes. This is Allison Vasquez signing off, reminding you that every story matters.